Hello, my beautiful friend. It's so wonderful to connect with you. So today I'm actually going to share something a little different with you. Sometimes when I'm creating things, just like anyone else, I've been asked time and time again, do you ever not want to create something? Or if you're working on something, like right now I'm working on setting up my event, the art event that I was telling you about earlier in a post. And today I just didn't feel a huge creative call to put some of that stuff together. Now, rather than getting really, really hung up on that, what I decided to go ahead and do was ask myself, okay, so if you're not feeling inspired to work on that specifically right now, where is this inspirational juice flowing to today? Where am I really wanting to play? Okay. Because we always have that power of choice in our moment-to-moment, day-to-day lives. Now, we may be experiencing more freedom of choice than others depending on our underlying belief structures, but that's a story for another time. Let's just all see this perspective that in any given moment, we are able to make choices for ourselves based on whatever is being experienced in our reality at that given moment. So for myself, I had a very wide range of choices because I have crafted for myself a life in which I have a wide variety of choices to choose from day to day. Now, today I felt, like I said, not so much like putting together something for my art project. So rather than force it and push it, I sat with myself. I breathed in and out like this a few times because I find this always helps me recenter. Because like any of us, when we're going out and about in life, there's always that tendency to kind of get, just a little focused here and there on things. So I come back to myself before really considering a question. And the breath is a wonderful tool. It's a good one. Breathe in and out a few times and sit with yourself. And then go ahead and ask yourself the question. Now, as you continue to do this, the question and the answer become one. When you are feeling in very strong alignment with yourself, the question and the answer are one and the same. So in theory, it seems like you're not asking questions because once it sort of emerges as you are living with the knowing of the next step. Now, if you don't feel this way immediately, no worries. There's nothing to feel bad about. We're always at where we're at, and that is the perfect place for us in any given moment. So if you feel like you do need to listen for the answer more, the simplest and most effective guidance I've heard from that perspective is to feel what feels amazing to you at your fullest levels. So remember, you're asking not only your current conscious human self, but you're asking your soul, your heart, your gut, your mind. It's a unity of all these pools. It's a unity of all these parts of yourself. And when you're willing to be receptive to the answer, when you don't get stuck on what you think the answer needs to be, then you get some really, really cool solutions and guidance from yourself. All right. So today for me, it was to pull this out and actually draw. Now, when I was much younger, I used to draw all the time. They thought I had ADD in class because no matter what was happening when the teacher was talking, I would pull out these leaflets of paper. You know how they have those handouts that they would hand you and they would have crossword puzzles or all kinds of things on them, and I'd flip them over and start drawing on the back of them. And so I would have binders and binders full of drawings, very specifically dragon drawings. See, check this out. So I love doing sketchings. Right here, I'm gonna flip through. This is one of my books. I actually, in the garage, have an entire case, if you will. Is it called a case? We'll call it a case. I have an entire case of sketchbooks filled to the brim with dragon drawings, specifically dragon drawings. Now, why dragons? Well, that's a bit of a long story, but let's just say that when I was a kid, I started by drawing horses, but then I started to, you can even see almost a, horse-like shape here. But then as I started to draw them, I just got this idea to make the necks longer and then add wings. And then pretty soon it evolved into drawing these dragons who I was so fascinated by them because they had such a large range. Such a large range. You could make a dragon that looked very sweet, like you see some of those eyes up there, or more fierce and gruff looking. I found that there were all kinds of variations between wings and scales, and because a dragon was a very fanciful creature, I could really let my imagination loose when creating it. Now, I just draw whatever I feel like drawing from the heart in the moment. And today, it was so fun for me. I ended up drawing this today, a dragon right here at rest. And I used my handy dandy pencil case here with, every single kind of pencil you could think of and some charcoal. And it was so fun. No, it still is fun. It was so connecting. And I'm sharing this with you in part just because I love sharing all these things that are fun, and I love sharing moments with you as well. But also to encourage you, if you're watching this, I get this sense that you're creating or going through all kinds of really cool things in your life. And, if you ever come to those places of creative block, or even just this sense of like stuckness that sometimes happens as that experience, to remember some of those things that maybe you did in childhood, or just to even open yourself up to some new possibilities of how you can play with yourself, because there are so many tools and techniques available to you, and you're never too old to do something that brings you joy. You're never too old to play with Legos and Nerf guns. You're never too old to draw. You're never too old to dress in your best underwear and dance at full blast to your favorite music. You don't need to buy into any stories that you are. Go have fun. Go have fun and connect with yourself and your inner inspiration in whatever way makes sense to you. No one can write that rule for you. Remember, have fun. All right. Thanks for joining me with this. Loving you so much. Talk again soon.